In other news, we've been talking a little bit about the Seahawks, just as the rookie guys are starting to come into camp. We're going to be out there, twice this week, Mike?
Yeah, tomorrow and Thursday. Seahawks mandatory minicamp begins tomorrow.
Yeah, so, I always like talking about the underdogs, and, we're going to hear from Mike Morris, who is a rookie this year. There was a guy drafted last year that was my guy. And I remember Michael Bumpus talked about Tariq Woolen. And Tariq Woolen and how that was his guy. So he won last year. But my guy Tyreek Smith did not. He didn't get on the field. He was, I think he was a 6th or 7th round draft choice out of Ohio State. Really good edge rusher. And we just haven't even heard from him. I mean, I don't think we saw any of him. I think he might have got hurt in the stretching session the first time they came through the door, but he's really talented. We got a chance to talk to him on Wyman and Bob last year. Great kid, comes from a awesome family, and Pete Carroll talked a little bit about him because he's a guy that nobody has really seen, but Pete really liked what he saw.
Really good quickness, really good understanding of the position. Yeah, we saw him like a day and a half is all we saw. Really good quickness. He understands the edge rushing, and he was really, that's why we drafted him, because we thought we saw a real special knack to him. He's had a good offseason. We've really made him work hard in the weight room and work on his strength and get physically right. He had a difficult injury in his hip, but he's back and going now, so he's doing everything. So he's full speed.
I always like that. I like doing that. I love when you find a guy that is kind of an underdog, that, a late round draft choice. And that'll be a good texter question, 866-979-3776, Mac and Jack's Brewing Company text line. Text in, who's your sleeper? Who's your guy in this class? Because last year, like I said, for me, it was Tyreek Smith. But Mike Morris could be one of those guys. Cameron Young, who was a late 4th round draft choice. He's a nose tackle out of Mississippi State. So, I mean, every year there's somebody like a Richard Sherman who was picked number 154 in the 5th round and, ended up being one of the best corners. I always said this about Sherm. I thought he was the best tackling corner in the NFL, in NFL history. Seriously, I mean, he would throw it in there. I mean, he was like a linebacker the way he played when it came time for that. But, maybe the biggest underdog, in Seahawk history, other than maybe Doug Baldwin. You throw him in there; he's an undrafted free agent. But who's your sleeper? Who's your sleeper pick out of this draft?
So Tyreek Smith is yours this year.
Well, it was last year.
Wait, it could be this year too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it could be. Yeah, okay. I mean, and it could be any player, but specifically just looking at some of these younger guys, and I think it's interesting what Mike Morris in cut number 5. He's one of those guys. First of all, he's up to 295. He was drafted around 265, 270. Wanted to be like a quick edge rusher, but so he's kind of a tweener. He's a 6'6" guy. He can put more weight on Moyer and I, who, by the way, Paul Moyer is going to guest host for us on Friday. But Paul was like, hey, that guy could put more weight on. But anyway, he's starting to gain the attention of some of the veterans.
Yeah, because I just always want to be a good rookie. I always want to just learn, and definitely don't want to be that guy that's kind of doing too much and talking too much and not listening before speaking. So I always just want to just keep my mouth closed, ears open every time he speaks a word, every time any of the vets, Miles, Draymond, every time they speak, I just want to shut up and just like, okay, what are you saying? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to do? All right, don't make me great. All right, let's do it.
Right off the get-go, you have to love this guy.
I was going to say, I'm sure you loved that when you heard that. The rookies just shut up and listen.
Well, I was, yeah. Well, I mean, when you're new anywhere, you're seen and not heard. Okay, and that's the best way. When I was a rookie, the vets loved me after a couple months because I just shut up. I didn't say anything, Then, you wait. Remember we heard Ty France describe Logan Gilbert that way?
Getting a little froggy.
Yeah, he said he got a little froggy this year. Like, he got a year under his belt. But that's when you do it, your second, third year, but not your rookie year. And so I love hearing that from Mike Morris. And, he was referring to Jaron Reed there about, that Jaron had some really good things to say about him.
Yeah, I think Mike Morris can be a good impact guy. So if you're asking maybe who's the underdog or underrated guy you're rooting for, you think will succeed, to me it feels like it almost has to be Cam Young because there's not any depth right now at that position. I mean, Brian Monet is your starting nose tackle, right? And he's I don't know his timeline. I don't think he's going to be back by the start of the season. So it feels like the expectations going into this year are that Cam Young steps in and he locks down that position to start. So in terms of importance, and I'm going to be interested to see him when we're out there this week. So I'll have to kind of pick your brain about that and play Bob's role of asking you a bunch of questions about why he was doing this and what he was doing there. But yeah, Cam Young to me feels like the most important rookie out of this draft class because of the lack of depth right there, and because that position was such an issue. Just the interior, the defensive line last season was such an issue that Cam Young, I hope he succeeds, and he would be my kind of underdog because he wasn't a first or second round pick.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick because, he's going to get a true chance. Like it's like they're waiting for him to, like, we need somebody in there, right? So, and let's see, yeah, he was drafted number 123 in the fourth round, right after Anthony Bradford, who is another guy. But yeah, I think Cam Young is a good choice because you need him so badly. I'm gonna go on the offensive side and say Oluwatimi from Michigan, fifth rounder, number 154. By the way, same pick as Richard Sherman, so that's a good pick. We know that.
A good omen.
Yeah, but also we talked about this a little bit on Friday. They've had 11 centers in the is it 13 or 14 years that Pete's been here, and Pete and John, and it's gone from everybody from Stephen Schilling to, I can't even remember some of the other names. Max Unger.
Right, you rattle them off, then you forget because there's so many.
Oh my God, you got to read it off a piece of paper.
Did you write them down? Write them down.
I did. I wrote them down here, and I'll get to them in a second. But that's another position that they desperately need. So for them to, those are two good picks. What you and I just went with there because, those are definitely positions of need.